Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jordia. I am a Filipino-American registered nurse, OFW, a traveler, and the founder of Travel Doves. What I will share you today is about our visit in the Philippines after decades. So, let's start with embracing the new and yet familiar land. Our arrival in the Philippines. This video is brought to you by Travel Doves. Please support my channel so that I can continue creating educational videos like this. Kindly click like and subscribe below. I'm going to be talking about the continuation of our journey going to the Philippines. In my previous posts, we plan to visit Philippines again after 16 years. You can find and read the first video in the playlist below. At last, after a long flight, we landed in Manila International Airport, Terminal 3. My kids' first impression upon landing in Manila was a big sigh and relief. For me, it's more of curiosity and excitement. I am eager to see the changes in my homeland and, of course, to see my dad and relatives. The new family members we never met before in person. In the airport, I noticed a big change. It is cleaner and more competitive to any Asian international airports. The facility crews were hospitable and speaks good English. It's quite a long walk from the baggage claim area, immigration department, and to the arrival area. However, we conquered the challenge of navigating to the arrival area for the reunion with our relatives. My husband and my kids were trying hard to communicate with our family and to their cousins. My nephews and nieces stated jokingly, "The conversation here can cause me nosebleed." Everyone giggles upon hearing this. To some Filipinos, the term nosebleed means difficult to speak English or running out of English vocabulary. For me, I got the advantage of speaking Tagalog in a predominantly English-speaking family. Navigating a transformed landscape, rediscovering the road home. As the catching up stories happening in the car, I can see the roads outside going home. I am so lost and unfamiliar with the surroundings. The old familiar places transformed over time. The traffic was bumper to bumper during peak hours. I suggest to schedule your arrival flights during off-business hours. The importance of clear signage and helpful traffic officers are vital for first-time visitors. The combining personal memory with new cues to find the way in a redeveloped area became a puzzle to me. But again, the role of language translator in guiding multilingual families through the Philippines was an advantage. For several areas, the place never changed. I can still remember their structures. Our ancestral house was old, but I can still see the old house where I grew up. One of my older brother and his family now lives in that house. We stayed in my father's new house because we wanted to be with him as much as we can while in the Philippines. Also, it is bigger and with more amenities. Reunited across languages and cultures, a multilingual family's homecoming. Dealing with language barriers in family travels when not everyone speaks the local language was a challenge. My kids made a point to learn Tagalog before this vacation. They can understand the said language but they can't talk. So, they respond in English. My relatives prefer that way of communication because they do not have to speak English. The joys and emotions associated with reuniting with relatives after a long time was unbelievable. Everyone in tears of joy, particularly my elderly dad. He was so happy and thrilled that finally, we managed to visit him. The personal and cultural impact of a Filipino homecoming on a mixed language family was memorable. It's funny but so joyful. Everyone tried their best to meet and talk halfway. They did several strategies for overcoming communication challenges in our family gatherings. Gestures, sign language, item identification, and more were explored wisely. We attended boodle fights. It is a type of family gathering wherein the foods are being laid out in a long table. Everyone will eat by their bare, clean hands. How they do the preparations are, firstly, table will be cleaned and sanitized well and then dry. Cleaned and disinfected through fire. Banana leaves will be laid into the entire table. Then, all the foods will be organized on the top of it. In my opinion, international travel is far more than a means of leisure, it's a crucial thread that weaves the tapestry of our family together, across oceans and through time. Everyone felt the humility, free and humbled. Communication through calls and social media helps, but nothing compares to the joy of in-person embraces. So my question to you today is, how do you plan for that next reunion? How you can ensure that the tradition of togetherness continues. If you've been in a similar position, separated from family by distance, I'd love to hear your strategies for keeping those important relationships thriving despite the miles. Remember, your first attempt doesn't need to be your last. Relationships are a work in progress, and the joy is in the journey. Our vacation was over. The time to face the reality was at hand. It is a story that's all too common for many Filipinos who works abroad. It's a bittersweet departure from our homeland, the country where I was born and raised. As I found myself preparing for a long-haul flight bound for United States, my heart grew heavy. Dragging my feet through the early morning bustle, the reality of leaving my father and relatives again. Going back to the reality of working and living a stressful daily routine. The emotional complexity of returning to the USA. The bittersweet reality of leaving family behind is always a challenge for every migrant workers. That is why the significance of spending quality time with loved ones every minute of your vacation is crucial. Enjoy, relax, and go back in time when you were a child. In my family, we love to give souvenirs to everyone. So, when we are about to leave, we can't count the special tokens and mementos received from our relatives anymore. All we feel is the love in the air. Also, the reflections and exploring the contrast of joy and sorrow experienced during the visit are mind-blowing. Cherishing memories, the last visits with my father. One of the most special moments in this vacation was the visit to my father. The pandemic prohibited us in visiting him. And on the tail of this pandemic, it took my dad away from us where we can never visit him anymore. The impact of COVID-19 on personal loss and grief were unbearable. However, reflections on the final visits to a loved one before their passing was the only remembrance that consoles us. We preserved his legacy and memories. These memories helped us to navigate the process of emotional healing and remembrance. Our sincere sympathy to the family of all the victims of this virus. The pain of not being next to your dying loved one was unimaginable. As we all know, there's so much restrictions, rules, and laws issued and created by many countries to protect their citizens. Foreigners was banned from entering several countries. Hospitals declined outside visitors to be with dying patients. The legacy we carry, honoring our parents. Our family understands well the sacrifices made by my parents. Their endurance and resilience to many trials that they encountered while building their legacy and creating the solid foundation of our clan. I can say that all the generations of our family showed so much appreciation and gratitude to our aging parents. We treasured their lessons learned from the lives and teachings. Teachings about respect, solidarity, love, loyalty, and family unity. By these virtues, we are keeping the connection alive through traditions and stories. A message of love and urgency: visit your parents. In my opinion, parents should be handing over to their kids the traditions and stories of their family. Let them know the reasoning behind every traditions and why we follow it. They maybe grew up in another culture, but let's hope that they will enjoy our aged family traditions and beliefs. We need to emphasize the importance of frequent visits to parents and value their sensitive feelings. Acknowledging the fragility of time and the importance of presence. It is good to connect using social media, but the physical presence is different. It adds more magic and love within the family realms. We need to inspire others to strengthen family bonds regardless of the distance between them. So my question to you is, how you can let your parents and family know that you love them. How you can tell them that you are grateful for all the things they've done to you. For raising you well and for guiding you to become who you are now. If you've been in a similar position, separated from family by distance, I'd love to hear your strategies for keeping those important relationships thriving despite the miles. For migrant workers, please visit my second website caretoheal.org or Care to Heal channel in YouTube, and enjoy my stories about my profession. I really hope that you've enjoyed reading about our family's journey to visit the Philippines. This video is dedicated to my beloved father Don Mar. Your legend, teachings, and advices will be always remembered. We miss you so much. Thank you for everything. We love you. For any flights, hotels, and travel needs, please visit traveldoves.com. Thank you for watching. Please click like and subscribe below.